Ladies and gentlemen, I am once again a big old idiot. I recorded this double deck and like gameplay video, and had once again sat on the button that turns off the microphone. So we're doing Jeskai Prowess / Aggro double deck, a best of one and a best of three. So I'm just going to talk you through what's going on here. Right now I'm saying, I don't know, I can't remember. But basically the deck idea came around from the fact that aggro is quite fun actually, but also I was having a chat with someone about, feather decks, they're pretty good. Any chance that they can be in any other colours apart from Boros? And I said, well, I'll try it in Jeskai. And I didn't actually end up doing it. I ended up making a wizard prowess aggro in Jeskai, which I love because Jeskai's great. Hang on, let me pause that there for a second. Jeskai's great. In modern, there's some, there's a play a reasonably budget modern Jeskai sort of aggro deck, and this works quite well. So I'm just discussing options here. So we've got, you can see the deck list there. You've got the two Siren Storm Tamer. I'm talking about Adeliz. Basically, he's or she is the one that gives all of our wizards prowess, especially Dreadhorde Arcanist. The best wizard ever, basically. Augur Bonus lets us tutor up stuff. Got two Siren Storm Tamer to basically be a threat and also just help us keep our dudes alive. Gitu Love Runner is very easy to get going with the 2/2 haste. The thing that makes it Jeskai is the Defiant Strike and Sheltering Light. Sheltering Light is great for keeping our guys alive, and Sheltering Strike, obviously the +1 +0 draw card is good. We've got the 2 opt. I did initially have Shock in there instead of opt, but extra card draw is good. And especially with Adeliz out, we can opt draw. We could then play something else off the card we draw, because most of them are 1-drop. Samet Sprint is ridiculous. My favourite card is a Beam Splitter Mage. You can play there we go, Beam Splitter Mage. Play it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Beam Splitter Mage, if you control one or more other creatures that spell could target, choose one of those creatures, copy that spell. The copy targets the chosen creature. So turn 2 or turn 3 or whatever. Probably turn 3 actually. You want it on turn 3. Play Beam Splitter Mage. Cast Samet Sprint on Beam Splitter Mage to give a +2/+1 and haste. You then copy Samet's Sprint onto another creature that you have, which could be Dreadhorde Arcanist. So you can then cast more things out of your graveyard or whatever. And it is crazy. It can go off insane when I've been playtesting, especially with Adeliz out. This deck can and does go very quick. I think because it's not, it's not considered a deck, people are caught off guard a little bit, especially in best of 1 or the first round of best of 3. And they're like, whoa, I'm dead. I'm dead on turn 3. What? Turn 3, turn 4 kills, easy. So Beam Splitter Mage is definitely a 4 of. We've got 4 Augur of Baddest because a great blocker against mono red and mono white. It also lets us tutor up for, not tutor, but lets us sort of look at the top 3 cards of our library and get an instant or sorcery. Helps us set up for the next turn. So nothing wrong with that at all. I have Chandra in here because sometimes we need that extra little bit of card draw. As with aggro decks, sometimes you run out of steam. You come across really grindy matchups. Here I'm going over things and just talking over certain cards, like saying, look, Dreadhorde Arcanist, Defiant Strike, etc. Because one thing you can't do though is Wizard Lightning is a CMC, converted mana cost 3. So you can't attack with Dreadhorde Arcanist as a 1/3 and cast Wizard Lightning. However, if you put Samet Sprint on Dreadhorde Arcanist, he's a 3/4. You can then cast Wizard Lightning from your graveyard. Just to let you know. What else am I discussing? I'm going to just have a little... I'm talking about Beam Split Mage again because I love him. So we get to this bit. The Adeliz is our basically the Lord, even though there is an actual Lord, but gives all our guys prowess. I said I had initially had 4, but I took 1 out for a Chandra because I think that's the right move. Extra card draw is good, and also just like she's a threat you need to deal with, because if we get up to 7 and we remove 7, you're dead, because sort of by turn 4, what have I had someone down to on turn 4? It's later in the video, like down to like 4 life, maybe 2. I can't quite remember. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm talking about We Dragonauts and saying We Dragonauts is great. 1/3 flyer for 3 is not too good, but it basically has a prowess effect +2/+0 when we cast instant or sorcery spells. Especially with Adeliz out, it's getting +3/+1 for the spells. When all our spells are 1-drops, some of them let's draw cards. We can start sort of chaining together. There is another wizard, even something I think I'll look for it in a second, that you could play instead of We Dragonauts, but it's a 2/2 and it gets +1/+1 prowess effect, which is good. But I think We Dragonauts is better. It avoids shock and all the black removal that does like -2/-2 kind of things, which is much better. Yeah, a little bit trickier to cast because it's a red and a green, red and a blue. But We Dragonauts is great. Here I'm just again talking about synergies between casting, drawing, with the prowess effects, and which is good. This is where I'm looking for this extra wizard. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, no Merfolk Trickster, which is good. Probably a sideboard. There you go, Aven Windmage. I went past him or her. Aven Windmage. There you go. That's the one. There's also an actual Lord who's a 4-drop. She has flash, and you can, when she enters the battlefield, you copy instant or sorcery spell. But I chose not to play because too situational, and I just don't think it's necessary for the deck. We're not wanting to be going turn 5, cast something, flash her, and copy it. We want to be turn 5, you're scooping or you're dead. But yeah, even Windmage, you could run over instead of We Dragonauts. Slightly easy to cast for 2 and 1 blue, but I just think We Dragonauts has the edge because it's a 1/3 and gets +2/+0. I just think that's my opinion. What am I looking for here? Here I am talking about extra spells you could run. I was looking at Arrested Zeal. I think that's pretty good for Dreadhold Arcanist. You can play Arrested Zeal on Dreadhold Arcanist, give it flying in the main phase, and then also copy Wizard's Lightning out of the graveyard, because it would be its power would be 3. The good old Gird for battle, +1/+1 counters, always good, but not sure. I'm gonna give it a go. I'll give it a bash. We're still sort of like messing around with this, but it's you can make Dreadhold Arcanist a permanent 2/4, makes it more avoidable to lightning strike and stuff like that. There's other things I'm looking at here. This is where I've gone, oh no, I put the wrong thing in. It's that, I can't even remember what it's called now. There you go. It's the one that gives all you guys +1/+1 indestructible, or indestructible and then +1/+1 if it's in your main phase. There you go, Unbreakable Formation, which is pretty good, and Vigilance. That I would love to play that, but I'm just thinking a 3-drop spell. I'm not sure when everything's pretty cheap. It does give our guys +1/+1 and indestructible, because I would play that before in my main phase before combat. Pride of the Conquerors again. Everything gets +1/+1. We're not likely to have the City's Blessing because we only got 20 lands. But I'm also talking about things like Crash 3. Creatures gain trample and draw a card. Reckless Rage is always good. But the Feather decks run that because it's good. It's very good. And you can just basically use it on Dreadhorde Arcanist to clear the board. Again, first strike and draw a card. Pretty good. Warlord's Fury. Did have Shock, put in Opt instead. I think that's better. I think 4 Wizards Lightning is enough. But yeah, Warlord's Fury is pretty good because that guy's first strike will make people think twice about blocking or making silly blocks. Lands, 20 lands. A bit frustrated with the sheer draw of tap lands I keep getting, so I changed it. In the test match, you'll see in a second. Again, I still ended up with loads of tap lands. And here we go into Jeskai Prowess / Jeskai Aggro best of 2. The main deck you can see is essentially the same. Here I'm talking about the fact that I had some spare gems, so I got fancy and bought the Cura sleeves. Main deck's basically the same. 2 Siren Storm Tamer, 4 Lava Runner. I put in 3 Sheltering Lights though for this one. Give that a go. As you can see, the main deck is essentially the same. Not much else to say. There's 1 less Beam Splitter Mage for 1 more Sheltering Light. Not so sure about that, but it does feel that in best of 3 people are running more removal and things, so I feel like Sheltering Light is fine. Plus we've got Beam Splitter Mage out, and we can Sheltering Light Beam Splitter Mage, we can copy and Sheltering Light something else. Still 4 Dreadhorde Arcanist and 4 Augur of Baddest. Would never change that, I don't think. I've got 2 Viashana Pyromancers just for that extra burn and damage. I kind of skip over the main board because I think what's the point? It's essentially the same. 3 Adelies, 1 Chandra, 2 Juggernauts, 4 Wizards Lightning. The Viashana Pyromancer, again, the extra 2 damage to someone's face is great. Especially if you can play Viashana Pyromancer turn 3 into a Salmon Sprint onto it. It's pretty good. Here we go to the sideboard, talking about sideboard options. The sideboard is still being played with, but revitalized to come in against mono red, so that's burn aggro, because getting through life and drawing a card, especially with a prowess effect, is very, very good. I'm just talking about that, thinking 2 Lava Core because of Phoenix decks, bigger creatures, 3 Dovin's Veto and 2 Wizards Retort. I'm wondering if that should be the other way around, because I've noticed in best of 3 Planeswalker decks absolutely trash us. 1 Deputy Detention because we can steal stuff, and 1 Cosmina because it makes things control decks, especially things like Path to Exile as well, harder to cast and get off. They've got to wait till 10. They have 6 mana spare. 2 Chandra because extra card draw for the grinding matches, and then 2 Elite Guard Mage because gaining 3 life, drawing a card and having a 2/3 flyer that's a wizard that can gain the prowess effect is very, very good. There is other ways to build this. Initially in the best of 1 I had 1 Deputy Detention and 2 of the other guys in the main board, but just felt a bit heavy on the mana. I was even, the 4-drop Chandra is worth it, without a doubt. I'm just talking here about 3 Dovin's Veto, Wizards Retort again, Deputy Detention, what's coming in, what's going out. But if you wanted to run a kind of slightly slower, here we're going into a match. If you wanted to run a slightly slower match, you could play like Elite Guard Mage and things and grind them out more. But I just think the quicker you can kill them, the better with aggro, right? Being a fan of ramp decks, I know that the quicker aggro players play, the worse it is for you. So there is that. We're getting into a match here. We just do 1 sample match at the best of 1 just to show how quick it can go, and then we'll do a proper. This is what I mean. 2 tap lands. I was really frustrated, especially with that starting hand, but As soon as I was going first, I thought I'll keep it. It's fine to wait a turn because, you know, you'll see. So tap land. And then we drew our steam vents. So I was like, obviously we steam vents. Shock myself for 2. We had a bit of lag, which annoyed me. I don't know why. And then I thought, you know what? Let's get this party started. He's opting. And then I went straight into Salmon Sprint because it lets us set up our next turn. I thought Wizard's Lightning is fine, figuring he's on mono blue or control or the Phoenix decks. A couple of Wizard's Lightning is going to be helpful. So we smashed you the face. They go in for an opt, which is fine. I had lots of opts, which is good. Opt's a good card. And here we go. Lava Runner. Into a Clifftop Retreat. Into a Wizard's Lightning. This was very silly. And then sort of get a combat. Hit for 4, put them to 10 on turn 3. Which is crazy good. Did I Wizard's Lightning right now? Yeah, I think I did. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. I did Wizard's Lightning. Because the theory was get the stuff in the graveyard for Dreadhorde Arcanist. Here I thought, okay, he's got shock. And drawing into another Wizard's Lightning is just ridiculous. Just had all the good card draw. It was like watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I predicted the shock. Which was fine. And so I was like that thinking, right, he's either got an answer for that Lava Runner or he's going to scoop, because otherwise he'd scoop if he didn't have an answer, or he can dig for an answer. I think he charts a course. Does he chart a course? And just sort of saying that I think draw a land, play Chandra, he scoops. He's charting a course, he's looking for an answer for the Lava Runner, which he finds. He shocks it. And then I was a bit like, okay, desperately need the land for Chandra. However, instead, drew Wizard's Lightning. He's only got 1 mana open. He can't counter that for 1 mana. And boom, that's game. That's how quick Jeskai Prowess / Aggro can run. It's insane. I mean, if we hadn't hit the Wizard's Lightning, we would have played the. If we hit land, we would have played the Chandra. And there you go, gold rank. It was up here. The gold rank was up the top. But because I was messing around with this deck too much in the ranked, kind of lost a few. But that's that done. Appreciate that. Alright, take it easy. Peace.